Ethan Ward's shuttle glided through the stars, its silver hull reflecting the distant glow of Zorath Prime. He had traveled thousands of light years from Earth, driven by curiosity, ambition, and the promise of adventure. As one of the few humans ever allowed to visit the planet, he carried the weight of representing his species. The surface of Zorath Prime stretched below him like a sea of strange colors. Forests shimmered with blue and violet light. Rivers glowed faintly with bioluminescence, and towering cities of translucent crystal rose like mountains in the distance. It was beautiful, alien, and intimidating all at once. Ethan's shuttle touched down gently on a polished landing platform outside the central city. He stepped out, his boots making soft thuds against the smooth surface. The air smelled faintly sweet, like a combination of flowers and minerals, and a soft wind carried the whispers of distant waterfalls. A figure approached him, moving with a grace Ethan had never seen. She was humanoid, yet clearly alien. Her skin had a gentle lavender hue, and her large golden eyes seemed to shine with intelligence and amusement. Her clothing was simple but elegant, a flowing dress that seemed to float around her as she walked. "Welcome to Zorath Prime, human," she said, her voice melodic and soft yet commanding attention. "I am Lyra. I will be your guide and your host." Ethan bowed slightly, unsure how much formality the alien expected. "Thank you, Lyra. It's an honor to be here. I hope I can learn and contribute." Lyra's eyes twinkled. "Contribute, you say? Humans are curious creatures. That might be useful here if you can keep up with our ways." She extended a slender hand. Ethan took it, surprised by its warmth and subtle strength. She led him through the city. Streets and pathways were lined with glowing plants and hovering platforms. Alien citizens passed by, moving elegantly or floating with the help of small anti-gravity devices. Every few steps, Ethan felt like he had entered a dream, a world that seemed both peaceful and full of hidden wonders. "You will stay in the council hall tonight," Lyra explained as they approached a large crystalline building. "It is a place of learning, observation, and gathering. The council often hosts visitors here. You will meet them soon." Ethan nodded, trying to take it all in. "It's incredible. The architecture, the light, it feels alive." Lyra smiled. "Zorath Prime responds to intention, human. Our buildings, our streets, even our lights. Everything adapts. You may find it confusing at first, but your mind is flexible. That may be why the council allowed you to come." Inside the council hall, the space opened into a vast chamber. Towers of light rose from the floor like trees of crystal, and holographic displays hovered in midair, showing star maps, planetary data, and information about distant civilizations. Ethan's eyes widened. He had studied alien technology on Earth, but nothing prepared him for this level of advancement. "Sit, human," Lyra said, guiding him to a platform near the center. "You must rest briefly before the gala. Tonight you will experience the customs of our people. You will learn what it means to serve, and to be served." Ethan raised an eyebrow, slightly puzzled. "Serve, and be served?" Lyra chuckled. Softly. "Do not worry. You will understand soon. Tonight is about observation, participation, and appreciation. The council values those who can adapt." After a short pause, a soft chime echoed through the hall. Small floating devices glided toward Ethan, carrying trays of food. The meal was unlike anything he had ever seen. Glimmering fruits that sparkled in the air, small crystalline cubes filled with vibrant liquids, and bread that seemed to sing, faintly when touched. "Try it," Lyra encouraged. "Taste and let your senses guide you." Ethan carefully picked up a glowing cube. The flavor exploded in his mouth, a harmony of sweetness, tartness, and something he couldn't name. His eyes widened. "Incredible. This is amazing." Lyra watched him with amusement. Humans often underestimate the power of observation. Taste, touch, and curiosity are part of what makes your species unique. After the meal, Lyra led him to a balcony overlooking the city. The view took Ethan's breath away. Towers of crystal reflected light like millions of stars. Rivers glowed in soft colors and distant mountains shimmered with energy he could almost feel. This planet is alive in ways humans rarely experience, Lyra said. Our civilization thrives on harmony with the environment, intelligence, and respect. You may find that your human ways are different, but not unwelcome. Ethan took a deep breath. I hope I can learn quickly. I don't want to offend anyone. You won't. If you listen and observe, Lyra replied. Humans are clever, adaptable, and sometimes reckless. That combination is both dangerous and fascinating. She leaned slightly closer. Tonight you will learn more than observation. You will participate. And that is when the real lessons begin. The rest of the afternoon passed quickly. Ethan explored the hall under Lyra's guidance, learning small but important customs, how to bow correctly, how to address council members, and how to interact with alien technology that responded to thought and intention. Every moment tested his patience, focus, and adaptability. As evening approached, the hall transformed. Soft lights dimmed and brightened in patterns, creating an atmosphere of anticipation. Citizens began arriving, their elegant forms moving, like liquid in the light. Music filled the air, soft at first, then swelling into harmonies that resonated with the very floor beneath Ethan's feet. Lyra leaned closer. Tonight is a test, human. Not of strength, but of mind, spirit, and curiosity. You will need all your wits. The council watches not only your actions, but your reactions. Ethan felt a thrill of excitement. For years he had dreamed of exploring alien worlds, but nothing had prepared him for the intensity of this moment. He realized that Zorath Prime was not just a place of beauty and technology. It was a place where intellect and character mattered above all. When the council members arrived, they floated elegantly to the center of the hall. Their forms were humanoid but refined, with elongated limbs and eyes that seemed to see everything. They spoke in unison, welcoming Ethan with words that resonated directly in his mind, bypassing sound. Human of Earth, they said, you are honored for your curiosity and courage. Tonight you will witness our customs and participate in our traditions. Your actions will be observed, your character measured. Ethan swallowed nervously, but he stood tall. I am ready to learn and to participate. Lyra's eyes glimmered. Good. That is the spirit we admire. Observe, adapt, and be clever. That is how humans shine, even among the most advanced civilizations. The first part of the gala began with subtle challenges, small puzzles, social tests, and demonstrations of attention to detail. Ethan moved carefully, using human ingenuity to succeed. Some tasks required creativity, others observation, and some demanded courage. Every success earned nods of approval from the council. Lyra occasionally whispered guidance, not to give answers, but to encourage thought. Think like you would on Earth, she said softly. Sometimes simplicity is key. Hours passed and Ethan found himself growing more confident. He could see why the aliens respected humans. Even in a world of elegance, precision, and advanced technology, a clever mind and an adaptable spirit were invaluable. Finally, the evening drew to a close. The council members nodded in unison, signaling their approval. Ethan felt a swell of pride not just for himself but for the species he represented. Lyra smiled, her eyes full of amusement and respect. Tonight you have learned much. But the true lessons are only beginning. There is more to Zorath Prime than beauty, puzzles, and customs. And you, human, may find that the adventure has only just begun. Ethan looked out over the glowing city, feeling a thrill he had never experienced. The stars stretched endlessly beyond and the possibilities seemed infinite. He had arrived on an alien world and already he felt that humanity's light, curiosity, courage, and cleverness shone brightly, even here. And as the soft alien wind carried the sounds of the city, Ethan realized one thing clearly. This journey would test him in ways he could never have imagined. and humans had the power to rise to every challenge. The night was just beginning, and Zorath Prime was ready to teach. Ethan Ward's heart raced as the soft hum of music and alien voices filled the grand hall of Zorath Prime. Tonight was the gala, an event that tested visitors not with force or weapons, but with cleverness, observation, and charm. Humans were rare guests, and every action Ethan took would reflect not just on him, but on his entire species. Lyra glided beside him, her golden eyes sparkling in the glow of floating lights. "Remember, human," she said softly, "tonight is about adaptation. You must observe, think, and act, and above all, you must enjoy the process. The Council admires those who face challenges with spirit." Ethan nodded, taking in the swirling crowd of aliens. Some floated slightly above the ground, their limbs elongated and graceful. Others walked with a rhythm that seemed perfectly synchronized with the light patterns of the hall. The architecture itself responded to every movement. Lights pulsed softly underfoot and walls shimmered as if they were alive. "Do you see them?" Lyra whispered. The Council watches closely. Their attention is not hostile, but discerning. Every mistake, every clever move. They notice. Ethan swallowed and adjusted his posture. He had trained for situations like this in simulations back on Earth, but nothing could have prepared. The next morning, Ethan awoke to a soft golden light filtering through the translucent walls of the Council Hall guest chambers. The colors shifted gently, as if the building itself were breathing, welcoming him to another day on Zorath Prime. He stretched and felt a renewed sense of purpose. Last night had been a revelation. Humans, with their curiosity and quick thinking, could shine even in alien worlds. A soft knock at the door announced Lyra's arrival. She glided into the room, graceful as always, her golden eyes sparkling with amusement. "Good morning, human," she said. "I hope you slept well. Today I will show you something few visitors ever see, our observatory." Ethan's curiosity piqued immediately. "Observatory?" he asked. "Is it like an Earth observatory?" Lyra's smile widened. "In some ways, yes, but it is much more than a place for looking at stars. It is a place of knowledge, of discovery, and of secrets hidden for millennia." He followed her through the city streets, their path winding past glowing rivers and hovering walkways. The air shimmered faintly with alien energy, and Ethan felt a strange but comforting hum beneath his feet. Every step reminded him that Zorath Prime was alive in ways humans had never imagined. Finally, they arrived at a towering structure of crystalline light. The observatory was circular, rising high into the sky, its surface refracting sunlight into brilliant patterns. Ethan stared, awed by the sight. Lyra gestured toward a floating platform. "This will take us inside. It moves not only upward, but in alignment with the stars themselves. Watch carefully, human. There is much to learn." Ethan stepped onto the platform. It lifted smoothly, and as they ascended, he noticed intricate carvings along the walls, depicting constellations and cosmic events spanning thousands of years. The symbols were unfamiliar, yet seemed to convey motion and story at the same time. Inside the observatory, the space opened into a vast chamber filled with holographic star maps, floating crystals, and instruments that Ethan could barely comprehend. Yet he could feel the intelligence behind every object. The observatory itself seemed alive, responding to their presence. Lyra led him to a central platform, where a large sphere floated mid-air. Its surface shimmered with constellations, some familiar to Ethan, others completely alien. "This sphere contains the history of the stars," Lyra explained. "It is a record of what we call the celestial patterns. Few outsiders ever understand it, but humans. Your curiosity gives you an edge." Ethan leaned closer, fascinated. The patterns were complex, showing relationships between stars, planets, and energy flows. But amidst the beauty, he noticed a strange anomaly, a sequence that seemed incomplete, a gap that made no sense in the otherwise perfect pattern. "Do you see that?" Ethan asked, pointing. "There's something missing here. Or perhaps something hidden." Lyra's eyes glimmered with interest. Ah, you notice what others often overlook. Humans are skilled at seeing what is not immediately apparent. That is why the Council allowed you here. Together they studied the sphere. Ethan traced the anomaly with his hand, and the patterns responded, glowing brighter where his fingers hovered. Slowly, a hidden sequence revealed itself, symbols that had been concealed within the star's arrangement. It is a message, Ethan whispered. Or a warning, maybe? Lyra nodded. Indeed, few understand its significance. It speaks of a hidden threat, a cosmic event that could affect many worlds. We have not been able to fully interpret it, but perhaps your perspective, human perspective, can help. Ethan's mind raced. On Earth, humans often solved problems by looking at them differently, thinking outside established rules. He focused on the patterns, searching for logic, rhythm, and connections. After several attempts, he noticed a recurring sequence. Energy. Pulses that aligned with certain stars, forming a path. This path, he said slowly. It's like a map. It shows a direction or maybe a location. Something is moving along it, something we need to find. Lyra studied his interpretation carefully. Remarkable. You see what we could not. Humans have an unusual ability to connect pieces of knowledge, creatively. This is why we value your presence here. Ethan felt a surge of pride. It was one thing to solve puzzles at the gala. It was another to uncover secrets that advanced civilizations had struggled with for centuries. But alongside pride, a sense of responsibility weighed on him. The hidden message suggested danger, and he realized that the consequences of misunderstanding it could be severe. Lyra guided him to a console filled with floating controls. We can simulate the anomaly, test it against known star systems, and predict potential outcomes. But it will require your insight, human. The simulation responds not only to logic, but to intuition. Ethan nodded. He focused, moving his hands through the holographic controls. The observatory responded instantly, lights shifting, stars aligning, and energy flows adjusting based on his choices. He noticed patterns that indicated a potential disturbance moving toward inhabited planets, its trajectory unpredictable, yet dangerous. See here, Ethan said, pointing at a cluster of energy flows. If we adjust these channels, we can stabilize the system or at least predict where the disturbance will go next. The solution isn't brute force, it's about guiding it, redirecting energy and creating balance. Lyra's eyes sparkled with admiration. Exactly. Humans often find balance where others only see extremes. This is why you were allowed here. Your perspective is fresh, unbound by centuries of tradition. Hours passed as they worked together. Ethan suggested minor adjustments to the patterns, testing outcomes and refining predictions. Lyra guided him, providing subtle insights but never giving answers. Slowly, the anomaly's behavior became clearer. A path that could be traced, a pattern that could be understood. Finally, Ethan stepped back. The sphere glowed steadily, the anomaly now integrated into the larger system in a way that made sense. The threat was not eliminated, but its path could be anticipated, giving the aliens time to prepare. Lyra turned to him, her expression full of respect. Human, you have done something extraordinary. Few alien minds could achieve this. You have illuminated a path that was hidden for centuries. Ethan smiled, humbled by her words. It's incredible to think that humans, with all our flaws, can contribute in ways that advanced civilizations cannot. I feel proud, but also aware of the responsibility. Responsibility, Lyra said softly, is part of what makes humans admirable. You do not take power lightly. You think, observe, and act with care. That is why we invited you here. As the observatory's lights dimmed in response to the setting sun, Ethan looked out through the transparent walls. The landscape of Zorath, prime glowed beneath him, rivers shimmering like liquid crystal, forests pulsing softly with energy, and distant mountains radiating colors he could not name. I've never seen anything like this, Ethan said, awed. It's beautiful, and so full of secrets. Lyra's smile was warm. And now, human, you are part of those secrets. Your insight has become part of our knowledge. Few outsiders ever leave such a mark. Ethan felt a deep sense of connection, not only to the planet and its people, but to the universe itself. He realized that humans were capable of understanding, contributing, and even leading in ways that transcended physical limitations. His mind, curiosity, and courage had made a real difference here. Tomorrow, Lyra continued, we will return to the council and report your findings, but tonight, reflect on what you have learned. You are beginning to understand the true value of human insight in a galaxy that is vast and complex. Do not underestimate the power of observation, intuition, and creativity. They are the strengths that define your species. Ethan nodded, feeling both excitement and anticipation. He knew that more challenges lay ahead, tests of ingenuity, courage, and character, but he was ready. For the first time, he truly understood that being human was not a limitation, it was an advantage. The observatory's lights dimmed further, casting soft shadows across the crystal floor. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the planet, the city, and the stars above. In that moment, he understood that adventure was not only about exploring distant worlds, it was about discovering what humans could accomplish when faced with the unknown. Lyra's final words echoed softly as they descended from the observatory. Human, you have shown what it means to shine with curiosity and courage. Remember this, for the galaxy is vast and your journey has only begun. As they returned to the council hall, Ethan felt a new determination. He had uncovered secrets, solved puzzles, and contributed in ways that no human before him had. And he knew that Zorath Prime, with all its beauty, mystery, and challenges, would continue to test him. But he was ready. For Ethan Ward, the human, the observatory had revealed not only the secrets of the stars, but the hidden power of his own mind, and that power would guide him through the adventures yet to come. The morning sun shimmered over Zorath Prime, casting rainbow-like reflections across the city's crystalline towers. The air buzzed softly with energy, alive with the rhythm of the planet. Today was special, the Festival of Light and Harmony, an event that celebrated creativity, courage, and cooperation among all species. For Ethan Ward, it was more than a festival. It was another opportunity to demonstrate human ingenuity in a world that valued intelligence above all else. Lyra appeared at his side, her golden eyes bright with excitement. Human, the festival begins shortly. Today The morning after the festival, the city of Zorath Prime shimmered quietly beneath a rising sun. The celebrations of the previous day had left a lingering glow across the streets and towers, a soft reminder of harmony, courage, and ingenuity. But Ethan Ward sensed that the peaceful energy of the city masked a subtle tension. Lyra appeared at his side, her golden eyes alert and focused. Human, there is something you need to see, she said, her voice serious. While you rested, the council discovered anomalies in the city's energy flows. We suspect a hidden threat, a disruption in systems that maintain balance across Zorath Prime. Ethan's curiosity surged. A threat? What kind? Lyra shook her head. We do not know. It is not aggressive in the usual sense, but it could cause chaos if not contained. You may be able to help. Your insight has already proven valuable. Ethan followed Lyra to a central control chamber within the city. Panels of light floated in midair, displaying energy networks, transport routes, and population flows. Small pulses flickered unpredictably, signaling disturbances in multiple areas. This is the source of the anomaly, Lyra explained, pointing at the glowing lines on a holographic map. It moves quickly and adapts to interventions. Standard protocols are insufficient. We believe it is a subtle, intelligent system disruption. You may notice patterns we do not. Ethan studied the map, focusing on the pulsating lines. His human mind, trained in pattern recognition and improvisation, quickly detected a recurring rhythm. Though the disturbances appeared random, they followed a hidden cycle. a sequence that repeated every few minutes across multiple sectors. "Think I see it," Ethan said. "It's not random, it's a system following a logic, but one that adapts to changes. If we can predict its cycle, we can stabilize the flow before it causes damage." Lyra nodded, impressed. "Exactly. Your ability to perceive patterns outside conventional logic is uniquely human. You may be our best hope." Together, they began to map the anomaly. Ethan suggested minor interventions to test its response, adjusting energy channels and redirecting flows. Each time the anomaly reacted, but Ethan anticipated its moves using logic and intuition together. Slowly, the pulses began to align with his predictions. "This is amazing," Ethan said. "It's like a puzzle, but one that keeps changing. We have to guide it, not fight it." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Balance, human. Humans excel when creating balance rather than forcing solutions. Remember that." After hours of careful observation and intervention, they had stabilized the city's main energy networks. The disturbances persisted in minor ways, but Ethan had identified the source, a hidden system left behind by an ancient alien civilization, long forgotten. Its purpose had been to manage planetary resources, but it had malfunctioned over centuries, creating adaptive disruptions. Lyra's expression was one of respect and wonder. "You have done what generations of our best engineers could not. Humans are remarkable not for strength, but for perception, intuition, and creativity. You have saved countless systems today." Ethan felt a surge of pride. The realization struck him. Humans, often seen as fragile compared to advanced alien species, had a unique advantage: flexible thinking. Where technology or brute force failed, human intuition could succeed. The council soon arrived, their presence commanding attention. "Ethan, Ward of Earth," the lead member said, "your actions have preserved the balance of Zorath Prime. You have demonstrated the power of observation, courage, and ingenuity. You remind us that intelligence is more than knowledge. It is understanding, creativity, and adaptation." Ethan bowed respectfully. "I'm honored. I only hope my efforts help your people and perhaps inspire cooperation between our worlds." Lyra led him away from the council chamber to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. "Human, you have seen the impact your mind can have, but this is only the beginning. Zorath Prime is vast, and challenges will continue. The galaxy itself tests those who dare to explore it." Ethan gazed at the glowing rivers and towering crystals, a feeling of both wonder and responsibility filling him. "I understand," he said. "Humans have the ability to adapt, to solve problems, and to rise to challenges. Even in places far beyond Earth, we can make a difference." Lyra nodded. "Yes. And tonight, you will learn another lesson about trust, teamwork, and leadership. The anomaly we discovered was subtle, but it revealed how humans can work with others to solve problems no one species can handle alone." As evening fell, the council arranged a demonstration for Ethan, a simulation projected across the sky, a holographic city like the one he had stabilized earlier, but on a much larger scale. Energy flows shifted unpredictably, representing a global network of systems that required careful guidance. "You will lead the intervention," Lyra explained, "but you will not act alone. Alien engineers, observers, and specialists will work with you. Your role is to coordinate, observe, and suggest interventions." Ethan took a deep breath. Leadership was a new challenge, but he had already learned that humans could excel in situations requiring calm judgment and creativity. He focused on the simulation, observing the movement of energy and the reactions of the alien participants. "This is like a game of chess," Ethan murmured, "but every piece moves in response to everything else. We need strategy, timing, and collaboration." He began issuing instructions, guiding the aliens to redirect flows, strengthen weak points, and anticipate adaptive responses. He suggested unconventional solutions, bridges of energy, temporary diversions, and synchronized timing, based on patterns he had observed. The aliens followed his lead, often surprised by the clarity and creativity of his suggestions. Slowly, the chaotic energy began to stabilize. Lines glowed steadily, systems hummed smoothly, and the holographic citizens moved without disruption. The council members watched, clearly impressed. "You have led with insight, courage, and balance," the lead council member said. "Humans, we see now, are capable of leadership not through dominance but through intelligence, intuition, and cooperation. Your species is remarkable." Lyra's smile was warm and proud. "Human, tonight you have proven something extraordinary. Not only can humans solve problems individually, but you can lead diverse beings toward harmony. That is a power few species possess." Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He realized that human ingenuity was not limited to Earth or simple tasks. It could shine across galaxies, guiding others, solving problems, and creating balance where chaos threatened. After the demonstration, Lyra led him to a quiet observation deck. The city below glowed softly, its energy stabilized, rivers and lights flowing harmoniously. "Ethan," she said, "your actions today have reminded us that intelligence, courage, and creativity are universal tools. Humans may not be the strongest, physically, but your species can rise to challenges in ways that others cannot." Ethan nodded, humbled. "I never imagined that being human could be such an advantage in an alien world. It's inspiring to think that our curiosity and determination matter even here." Lyra's expression softened. "And there will be more challenges. The galaxy is vast, filled with mysteries, threats, and opportunities. But humans have something that makes them truly remarkable: the ability to observe, to think creatively, and to act with courage. That is your gift." As night settled over Zorath Prime, Ethan felt a renewed determination. The festival, the observatory, and now the hidden threat, all had tested him, each in different ways. And he had learned that human qualities, curiosity, creativity, courage, and insight, were invaluable, even among civilizations far beyond Earth. Looking at the glowing city below, Ethan realized that this was only the beginning of his journey. There would be more challenges, more mysteries, and more opportunities to prove the potential of humanity. And he was ready to face them, knowing that humans could rise to any occasion, adapt to any environment, and contribute in ways that even advanced alien civilizations could not anticipate. Lyra's final words echoed softly in his mind as he prepared to rest. "Human, you have shown that your species can solve problems, guide others, and create harmony where it is needed most. Never forget this. The universe is wide, and your light is capable of reaching even the farthest stars." Ethan smiled, feeling pride and responsibility intertwining. Humans had the potential to be more than explorers. They could be innovators, problem solvers, and guardians of balance in the galaxy. And as he looked at the glowing rivers, shining towers, and the stars above, he knew that Zorath Prime had become not just a planet he visited, but a world where humanity's ingenuity and courage had truly made a difference. The morning sun rose slowly over Zorath Prime, bathing the city in gold and silver light. Towers shimmered like crystals, and the rivers of energy flowed calmly, steady and harmonious. Ethan stood on the balcony of the council tower, looking down at the city he had helped save. His heart was full, not of pride alone, but of gratitude for the experiences he had shared with the aliens of Zorath Prime. Lyra appeared beside him, her elegant form moving silently. "Human," she said, her voice soft yet steady. "Today is not only a farewell, it is a celebration of what humans can accomplish when courage and intelligence meet opportunity." Ethan nodded. "It has been an honor, Lyra. I never imagined that my actions could have such an impact. Humans are, well, we are used to thinking small, but this world has shown me the opposite." Lyra smiled. "You